Hey everyone. Before we dive into today's story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is there. It really helps YouTube recommend more stories like this one to you. Alright, let's jump right in.
The third night in a row, my delivery app pinged the same address. I got a weird feeling in my chest. Not fear exactly, just tightness. Like my lungs shrank the second I saw the street name again. It wasn't even a neighborhood. More like a stretch of broken road out past where the streetlights end. The pin dropped on this old two-story farmhouse, sagging at the edges, with a roof that looked like it could collapse if you sneezed near it. No other houses around. Just dry fields and skeletal trees. The kind of place you wouldn't even notice unless you were looking for it. First night, I thought it was just a late-night junkie with the munchies. Second night, I started thinking it might be a prank. Third night, I stopped telling myself anything. I just drove. It was cold. My windows kept fogging up from my breath, and I hadn't had time to fix the heater in my car. So I sat there in my jacket, rubbing my hands together, watching that creepy-ass house get closer on the GPS. The weird thing? The order was always the same. A single cheeseburger. No drink, no fries. No tip. Who the hell orders just that? At 1:13 a.m., 3 nights in a row? The first night I knocked and nobody answered. I left it on the porch. I didn't think twice. Second night, I knocked again. Still no answer. But when I walked back to my car, the bag was already gone. No footsteps. No door sound. Just gone. Third night last night, I decided I was gonna wait. Not like spy on them, wait. I just wanted to see who was behind this. So after I placed the bag down on the same wooden porch, I didn't leave. I turned around, walked back to my car, and stayed parked just far enough to keep the house in view. I left the engine running. 5 minutes passed. 10. I almost gave up. Then the porch light flickered on. Not flipped, flickered, like someone was shaking the bulb from the inside. The kind of light that twitches like it's nervous. I squinted through the fogged-up windshield and saw it. A shadow behind the door's frosted glass window. Not a person. Not fully. Just the outline, still, tall, head tilted to one side like it was listening. The door creaked open, maybe 3 inches. A hand reached out, thin, pale, long fingers, and snatched the bag. Then the door shut. I stared, didn't move. Barely breathed, that hand. Something was wrong with it. It was too smooth. Too white. It reminded me of a mannequin's arm. Plastic almost. Except it moved. I didn't sleep when I got home. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that twitchy porch light and that stiff hand. I decided I wasn't gonna accept another order to that address, no matter how desperate I was for cash. But it didn't matter, because tonight, the order didn't come through the app. It came as a text. From an unknown number, cheeseburger. Same address. 1:13 a.m., don't be late. I didn't respond. I threw my phone across the couch and sat there, heart racing. I hadn't told anyone about the house. Not even my roommate. And the app doesn't share your number. So how the hell did they get mine? At exactly 1:12 a.m., my phone buzzed again. We saw you watching. I left. I know. Dumb. But I had to see. I had to prove to myself that this was some elaborate prank. Some weird group trying to scare drivers for TikTok views or something. So yeah. I drove. Same long road. Same quiet night. Except this time, the house looked different. The porch light was already on when I pulled up. Not flickering, just on, and the front door open. Just a few inches like before, like it was waiting for me. I didn't bring any food. But I got out of the car anyway and walked to the steps. My boots crunched in the gravel. Every sound felt too loud, like the night was holding its breath. Up close, The door looked even older than I remembered. Wood splintered. Frame warped. A tiny sign near the doorknob, carved into the wood, "We see the ones who watch." I knocked. Once, no answer. Then I heard it. A low thud from inside. Then slow, dragging footsteps. I stepped back. "Hey," I said, voice shaky. "Who's been texting me?" No reply. The footsteps stopped. Right behind the door. I turned to leave. Then, cracked out. The porch board beneath my foot snapped, and I fell hard onto my side. Pain shot through my hip. My phone flew out of my pocket and slid under the wooden steps. I scrambled up, breathing heavy, heart thudding so loud it made my ears ring. I dropped to my knees and reached for my phone under the porch, and that's when I heard it, not from inside the house. From underneath it. Breathing. Slow, ragged, wet. Then a whisper. "Too late now." I shot up and ran to my car. The headlights were off. I had left them on. I jumped in and locked the doors. Fumbled for the keys. The car wouldn't start. Click. Nothing. Then the radio turned on. I swear to God, I hadn't touched it. A voice came through the static, raspy and hollow. "Cheeseburger. No tip." I left the keys in the ignition and ran. Full sprint. Down that long-ass gravel driveway. My lungs burned, and my legs felt like they were dragging through wet cement. I didn't look back until I hit the main road. Nothing behind me. No lights. No footsteps. Just night. And when I finally stopped and checked my pockets, my phone was back, sitting in my hoodie pouch. Battery fully charged. New message on the screen. "See you tomorrow." I didn't go to work the next night. Didn't even open the app. I deleted it, blocked the unknown number, powered my phone off, then back on, then off again, just because I didn't know what else to do with my hands. I kept pacing the living room like I'd forgotten how to sit still. Every sound made me jump. The fridge kicking on, the neighbor's door slamming. Even my own heartbeat felt too loud, like it wasn't synced with my body anymore. By midnight I was exhausted, but too wired to sleep. I kept checking the window like something might be standing outside. I told myself if I just got through this night, maybe it would stop. At 1:30 a.m., my phone vibrated, even though I had the number blocked, even though I deleted the app. "You're late." Just those two words. My stomach dropped. My room felt smaller, warmer, like the air itself was leaning in close. I didn't reply. Another message came. "Come outside." I froze. I didn't want to look. I really didn't. But my eyes drifted toward the window anyway, like something was behind them pulling the strings. The street looked normal. Cars parked. Streetlights humming. Nobody outside. But the vibration kept going. More messages. Dozens. "We see you. Cheeseburger. You watched. Look left. Look left." I turned my head so slowly my neck trembled. Left, toward my bedroom door. At first, nothing was there. Then the doorknob moved. Just a tiny shake, but deliberate. Like fingers wrapping around it from the other side. I backed up so fast I tripped over my laundry pile and hit the floor. My phone landed beside me, screen still lighting up with incoming texts. The knob turned. Halfway. Then let go. I scrambled on all fours, sprinted for the front door, didn't even grab shoes. I just ran out of the apartment, down the stairs, into the freezing night air. My breath came out in white bursts. My socks were instantly soaked by the damp sidewalk. I didn't have a plan. My brain was empty, except for this one sharp, primal thought. Get away. Get away. Get away. I didn't stop running until I reached the street corner. A late-night bus screeched to a stop, doors opening with a hiss. I got on without thinking, without looking behind me. Only once the bus started moving did I realize my hands were shaking so violently. I couldn't even hold my phone. I sat in the back trying to breathe. There were only two other passengers, a guy asleep by the window and an older woman with grocery bags. Nobody creepy. Nobody watching. For a second, I thought I'd finally outrun it. Then my phone buzzed again. No number. No contact name. Just a notification, a picture message. I tapped it open with a trembling thumb. It was my apartment door, taken from inside my room. The angle, the lighting, the timestamp. The photo was taken less than a minute ago. The door was still slightly open from where I'd run out. And behind it, in the darkness, something stood in the corner. Tall, still, head tilted. My stomach rolled. I threw my phone onto the seat next to me. The older woman looked over at the motion, then looked away like she didn't want to get involved. I didn't touch my phone again until the bus reached downtown. The bright streetlights made me feel slightly safer. I picked it up. Another message was waiting. Wrong direction. My throat closed. The bus kept rolling through quiet streets, and the more I tried to convince myself it wasn't about me, the more the panic clawed up my chest. I got off at a 24-hour diner. The kind with buzzing fluorescent lights and sticky tables. The kind that felt safe because it was public and well lit and smelled like burnt coffee. The waitress gave me a weird look when I walked in barefoot and shaken, but she didn't ask questions. I slid into a booth and just sat there, shivering, trying to warm my hands on a mug she set down in front of me. I needed to think. I needed to breathe. The diner lights flickered, not the usual fluorescent buzz. This was different. More violent. Like something moved through the building and the electricity flinched away from it. I held my breath. They flickered again. Longer. The waitress frowned from behind the counter. "We've been having problems with that all week," she said. "Sorry if it's flicker." This time every light went out completely. The whole diner went black. Someone gasped. A fork clattered to the floor. I pressed myself back into the seat, fingers gripping the edge of the table so tight my knuckles cracked. I could see shapes in the darkness, people shifting, murmuring, confused. Then my phone screen lit up. Bright. Blue-white. Too bright. A new message. "Look outside." I didn't want to. I really didn't. But something inside me, the same thing that made me stop at that house, the same thing that made me wait in my car that night, dragged my eyes toward the diner window. Outside, across the street, under the only working street lamp, a figure stood facing the diner. Tall, unmoving, head tilted to the side. I couldn't see a face, just the outline. Just that impossible stillness. Its arm lifted. Slowly. Deliberately. And pointed at me. My whole body went cold. The lights snapped back on. People yelled in surprise. Someone laughed nervously. I blinked hard, trying to clear my vision. The figure was gone. I didn't know if I imagined it, if I was cracking under the fear, if something was really standing there. The waitress asked, "You okay, honey?" I couldn't answer. My tongue felt glued to the roof of my mouth. I stood up, tossed some bills on the table, and walked out of the diner with my heart pounding like a fist in my throat. My phone buzzed again the second my hand touched the door. "Ready now?" My legs almost gave out. I didn't answer. I just started walking. Fast. Didn't matter where. I just needed movement, distance, anything. But the messages kept coming. "Don't run. We see you. Come back. It's time." Back to the house. Then the last one. "Turn around." I didn't. I kept walking, faster, my breath fogging the air. The city got quieter. Fewer cars. Fewer people. Just the sound of my footsteps and the rustle of my clothes. "Turn around." I didn't. I cut through an alley, trying to lose whatever was following me. My lungs felt like they might burst. Sweat ran down my spine despite the freezing air. I stopped when I reached the next street and pressed my back against a brick wall. I felt dizzy. I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream. My phone buzzed again. But for the first time that night, I didn't look. I powered it off. Then I took a deep breath and said out loud, "I'm not going back." The night air felt still. Too still, like the city itself stopped breathing. Then behind me, so close I felt the warmth of it on my neck, a whisper, "You already did." I spun around. Nobody was there. Just the empty street, but the buildings looked wrong. The sky felt too dark. The air smelled like dust and rotten wood. I walked forward, shaky, confused, and looked down at the cracked pavement. My stomach dropped. It wasn't pavement. It was gravel. And ahead of me, through the silhouette of two dead trees, was the farmhouse. The porch light flickered gently, waiting. The door was already opened. My legs wouldn't move. I wasn't breathing. My vision pulsed at the edges like I was about to pass out. Then my phone, still off, lit up in my hand. One final message on the screen. No number. No app. Just text floating on a black background. Delivery confirmed. Come inside. I don't remember deciding to walk forward. I just know that I did because when I blinked, I was already climbing the porch steps. The air was colder here. Wet, almost sticky. The door creaked wider as I got closer, like something inside was leaning back to make room for me. I whispered, "Please don't make me go in." And a voice from the darkness whispered back, "We already have you." The door slammed. The porch light went out. And everything went black. The first time I delivered to apartment 3B, I barely noticed anything weird. Just another late-night order. Sushi, no contact, leave at door. I've been doing gig delivery for 2 years now, mostly late shifts. Less traffic, better surge pay. Fewer people trying to make small talk. I liked the quiet. 3B was in this older building near downtown. The kind with buzzy intercoms and a lobby that smells like damp carpet. I remember the hallway being unusually dark, like a couple lights were out. That and the door itself. Matte black. No unit number. Just a tiny PEPHOLE. No big deal, right? I left the bag, took the photo, marked it delivered. Moved on, but 3 nights later, same order. Same apartment. Same exact time, 12:47 a.m. Okay, I thought. Creature of habit. Nothing new. The third time, I noticed the pattern. Same order, down to the sauce packets. Same no contact request. But when I snapped the photo, I felt something shift. Like the air behind the door got heavier. I don't know how else to explain it. It felt like someone was standing right on the other side. Breathing. Watching. The fourth time, I knocked, just once. I don't know why. Curiosity, maybe. Or boredom. Or that gnawing feeling in the back of my brain that said something was off. No answer. No sound, just silence. A kind of deep, hollow silence that made the hallway feel like it was swallowing me whole. I left, but I kept looking over my shoulder all night. Like that door wasn't finished with me. The fifth delivery, that's when I knew. I got to the door and paused. I was just about to drop the bag when I realized the sushi box inside was the same brand and labeling as before. But it looked untouched. Still sealed in plastic. Still had the same red 12 halves sticker on the side. That was 2 nights ago's date. I pulled up the previous delivery photo from my phone gallery. Same bag. Same sticker. Same box. They weren't eating it. Who orders the same meal 5 nights in a row and doesn't touch a single one? I wanted to knock again, ask what the hell was going on, but this pressure settled in my chest. Like something was daring me to try. I left the bag and walked fast down the hallway. Didn't run. Just fast enough to pretend I wasn't scared. But I was. That night I couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about the door. The bags, the feeling. I pulled up the delivery logs on my app. 5 orders to 3B. Always 12:47 a.m. Same name. Arel. Same tip. $6.66. Every single time. Okay, creepy. But maybe it was a joke. A troll. A college kid with too much time and a dark sense of humor. I was gonna let it go. Until the 6th night. Because that time, the order came through while I was already parked outside the building, on break, watching YouTube in my car. The app just buzzed, And there it was. New order 3B. Drop-off time, 12:47 a.m. I didn't even accept it. It just showed up on my route. I got out, my body moving on autopilot. The hallway felt colder this time. My breath fogged the air, which made no sense. It wasn't even below freezing outside. I reached 3B, and before I could even place the bag down, the peephole darkened. Something was behind it, not moving, just blocking it, like someone was standing flush to the door. Staring through it, I froze. Seconds passed. Then something new happened. A voice from the other side of the door. Low, calm, barely a whisper. You shouldn't watch what doesn't want to be seen. I dropped the bag and stepped back so hard I hit the opposite wall. I didn't say anything. I just stared at the door, waiting for it to open, or for something to knock, or for someone to burst out screaming. But nothing happened. The peephole stayed dark. I bolted. I didn't tell anyone. Part of me thought I imagined it. The stress, the sleep deprivation, the weird hours. But I stopped taking late-night shifts after that. Switched to lunch runs. Blocked downtown on my GPS. And for a while, it worked. No weird deliveries. No ghost sushi. No black doors or strange whispers. Until 3 weeks later, I was home. Saturday night. Playing FIFA, half-eaten pizza on the coffee table. My phone buzzed. New order. Not through the delivery app. Through Venmo. $6.66. With a note. 12:47. You're late. I stared at it for a full minute. My controller sliding to the floor. I didn't know how they found my Venmo. It was private. I didn't know how they knew I'd be awake, but I knew what they wanted, and that they weren't going to stop. I called customer support. Explained everything. They flagged the account. Marked it as suspicious, but that wasn't the end. Not even close. Because the next night, someone buzzed my apartment at 12:47 a.m. and didn't stop. 5 buzzes. Then 10, then 30. I crept to the window. Looked down. No car. No person. Just the apartment entrance. And sitting right outside it, on the front steps. A sushi bag. Same brand. Same sticker, this time. The date read 12 halves. But that wasn't even the worst part. Went downstairs to throw it away the next morning. The bag was still there. And under it was a printed photo. Me. Standing in front of 3B. Looking straight into the peephole. I didn't go to work for 2 days. Not after finding that photo. Not after realizing whoever lived, if anyone lived in 3B, had gotten close enough to take a picture of me without me ever noticing. I taped a towel over my bedroom window. Slept with the lights on. Kept my phone face down so I wouldn't see if a notification popped up at 12:47 a.m. But the silence wasn't comforting. It made me feel like something was stretching, thinning, waiting for the right moment to snap back. On the third night, I woke up sweating. My phone was vibrating violently on my nightstand. I didn't want to look, but I did. 12:46 a.m. 1 minute early. Then the screen lit up with an unknown number. I almost dropped the phone when I read the first message. Look outside. My stomach turned. I stayed frozen, clutching the blanket, praying it was some scammer or glitch. I didn't move. Then another message came. We know you're awake. My heartbeat pounded in my ears. I stood slowly and walked to my window. Lifted the corner of the towel, just enough to see out. At first, I didn't see anything. My eyes adjusted. A figure stood on the sidewalk across the street, facing my building, facing me. Same height as the shadow behind the peephole. Same stillness. Same head tilt. They weren't moving. They weren't even swaying. Like a normal person trying to stay warm in the cold night air. Just watching. A light breeze rustled the tree branches, but the figure didn't react. Didn't flinch. Didn't shift. My phone buzzed again. Wave. I stepped back from the window so fast I slammed into my nightstand. I didn't wave. Didn't even breathe. After a few seconds, I dared to peek again. The figure was gone. The street was empty. Everything suddenly looked too normal. Too clean, like something had been erased. The next morning, I told myself that was it. I was done. I was calling the police, customer support, building management, anyone. But when I went to grab my phone, it wasn't on the nightstand. It was on the kitchen counter. Next to a plastic sushi bag. I didn't put it there. My apartment door was still locked from the inside. My roommate was still gone for the week. I stood in my own kitchen, staring at that bag like it might breathe. The sticker on the sushi box said, 12 halves, the same date. Over and over, like time didn't move inside 3B. Like whatever was sending them didn't know time moved at all. I reached for my phone with trembling fingers. New notification. Venmo. Transfer from Morel. $6.66. Note. Stop running. I swear. I felt the apartment walls lean in around me. I went to the leasing office at noon. The property manager looked exhausted, like she'd been drowning in paperwork for weeks. When I asked her about 3B, she frowned and pulled up a spreadsheet. There is number 3B, she said. I froze. What do you mean? The third floor doesn't have that layout. It goes 3, a 3C, 3D, 3E, no B unit. That's not possible. I've worked here 8 years. Trust me. She rotated her monitor toward me. Sure enough, there was number 3B on the blueprint. But I've been delivering there for weeks, I said. There's a black door. No number. She looked up sharply. Black? Yes, she rubbed her forehead. Maintenance painted that door black months ago because someone vandalized it. But the unit behind it is empty. Completely gutted. No tenant. A cold wave washed over me. No one should be living in there, she added. Frankly, it should be locked. I'll send someone to check. My voice cracked. Nobody answered when I knocked. You knocked? She stared at me. Something in her expression shifted, an unease she tried to mask. I left the office with a knot in my stomach. The kind that makes you feel like you should run, but you have no idea which direction is safe. That night, I slept on the couch with the TV on. Just before midnight, I got a text, a video file. I almost deleted it without opening it. But curiosity, fear disguised as curiosity-1. The video was taken from a low angle, like the camera was placed at someone's feet. My feet at my apartment door. I watched my own hand unlock the deadbolt and open the door. Except I didn't remember doing it. At all. The version of me in the video stepped aside, as if holding the door open for someone. Then the video cut to black. My whole body started shaking. I checked my door. Still locked. I checked my phone. It was 12:47. I didn't sleep at all. The next morning, I went back to the apartment building and walked straight up to the third floor. Every step made me want to turn around, but I didn't stop until I was standing in front of 3B. The hallway felt colder than the rest of the building. My breath came out in soft clouds. There were no windows, no drafts. It shouldn't have been that cold. The door was still black, still unmarked, still wrong. I reached out and touched it with 2 fingers. The surface was freezing, like metal left outside in the dead of winter. Before I could pull my hand back, my phone buzzed in my pocket. Against all logic, I answered. The voice on the other end wasn't a voice. It was breathing. Slow. Deep. Wet. I hung up immediately, heart punching my ribs. A second later, a whisper came from the other side of the door. Come in. I backed up, pulse skyrocketing. The overhead light flickered violently once, twice, then went out completely. I sprinted down the hallway. Tripping twice before making it to the stairwell, I didn't stop. Running until I reached the outside doors. The sunlight burned my eyes. The normal chatter of the street felt wrong, like I'd crossed dimensions. I tried not to think about 3B for the rest of the day. Tried to focus on literally anything else, but the feeling stayed with me, like a shadow stitched to the back of my skull. By midnight, I was trembling. By 12:30, I was pacing. At 12:47, exactly, my phone lit up from across the room. I didn't check it. Couldn't. But the buzzing didn't stop. 5 seconds. 10:30. It kept going. Buzz. Buzz. Then it stopped. Silence. I felt something shift in my apartment. Air moving, weight shifting, like someone took a step. I forced myself to look at the phone. New message: check your door. My knees almost buckled. I didn't go near the door, didn't breathe, didn't blink. Then, knock, one single knock. Slow. Deliberate. Like someone pressing their knuckles into the wood. I backed away until my spine hit the kitchen cabinets. There was no second knock. Just a soft dragging sound, something sliding down the door. Then the buzzing started again. Check the phone. Another message, a photo. I opened it carefully. Every part of me screaming, not to. It was my apartment door. Another angle, this time taken from the inside. From right behind me. I was in the frame. My shaken silhouette reflected faintly in the glass. Behind me was a figure. Tall. Still. Head tilted. Standing inches away, facing me. I dropped the phone and sprinted to the bathroom, slamming the door shut and locking it. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. I stayed there for an hour. 2. Nothing happened. No footsteps. No breathing. No knocks. Eventually, I slid to the floor and pulled my knees to my chest. Even when the sun came up, I didn't feel safe. By the time evening came, I knew what I had to do. I had avoided it for as long as possible, but this presence wanted something, and it wasn't going to stop. I needed to see the inside of 3B. Not to prove anything. Not for answers, but because something in me understood. If I didn't go willingly, eventually it would come for me, and I wasn't going to be caught off guard again. I couldn't. So at 11:30 p.m., I took an Uber back to the building. My hands were trembling the whole ride. When I stepped into the lobby, the lights flickered the exact same way they had in the diner. I took the stairs one at a time. Each step felt heavier than the last. The hallway was completely dark. The motion lights didn't turn on, but 3B's door was faintly illuminated. A soft glow leaked from the edges, like the room behind it was lit by something too bright and too still. My phone vibrate.1 new message. Come home. I swallowed hard. I reached out and touched the cold black door. It opened on its own. Just a few inches. Just enough for me to see inside. The room was empty. No furniture. No flooring. Just exposed beams, dust, shadows, and bags. Hundreds of sushi bags. All identical, all unopened. All marked 12 halves, stacked neatly, lining the walls, covering the floor. A ocean of untouched meals. Something moved behind the stacks. A shape. Tall. Still. Head tilted. It stepped forward. Slowly. Silently. The light behind it flickered like a pulse. My body locked up. I couldn't breathe. Then it whispered, not from the room, not from the doorway, not from my phone. But from inside my head. Delivery received. The door slammed shut. Darkness swallowed me. A cold breath touched my neck. And the last thing I heard before everything went silent was, "Don't ever stop knocking." I always thought the rear camera was just there for safety, like for backing into tight spots or making sure I didn't run over someone's dog. But now I can't look at one without thinking about that night. The night I saw a face in the trunk cam, not a person, just a face, and it changed everything. I'd been doing delivery driving for over a year. Uber Eats, DoorDash, the whole hustle. Late nights mostly. Less traffic, fewer customers staring at you like you're beneath them. I liked the solitude. The empty roads. The quiet. My car was my world. I knew every sound it made. Every twitch in the steering. I had a 2016 Corolla, reliable, not flashy, just enough tech to feel modern. The reverse camera came standard. Never paid attention to it. Outside of parking. Until that one delivery. It started like any other night. Cold, but clear. I had my hoodie on, podcast playing. 2 coffees and a bagel order from a 24/7 Steiner. Going to this apartment complex about 15 minutes away. No big deal. But halfway through the drive, I started feeling weird, like something was off behind me. I kept checking the rear view, thinking maybe a tailgater or a car without headlights was creeping. Nothing. Just empty road. But that pressure in the back of my neck wouldn't go away. That feeling when you know someone's watching you, but you don't know where from. When I pulled into the apartment complex, I swung around to reverse into the parking spot like I always did. I glanced at the reverse cam out of habit, and that's when I saw it. A face. White, expressionless, staring directly into the camera. It was only there for a second. Just long enough for my brain to register. No hair. No features. Just eye sockets, like a mannequin. Then the screen flickered and went back to normal. Just the parking lot behind me. I slammed the brakes and twisted around in my seat. Heart punching through my ribs. Nothing there. The lot was empty. No one behind the car. No one crouched. No movement. No prankster hiding in the shadows. I turned the car off. Sat there, breathing, trying to convince myself I'd imagined it, that the camera glitched, that it was a reflection. A smudge, something. But I knew what I saw, and the worst part? It wasn't my first delivery of the night. I dropped off the bag and practically threw the coffees at the front door. Then sat in my car staring at the black screen of the backup cam, too scared to shift into reverse. Eventually, I just drove forward and left, but the image was burned into my brain, that face, blank, hollow. So still it didn't even feel alive. I went home early that night, parked in the street, left the lights on in the apartment. Every creak made me flinch. Every sound outside made me check the peephole. I didn't sleep much, but the next day, nothing happened. Or the day after that. After a week, I convinced myself it had been a glitch. Maybe a sticker on a garbage bin. Maybe some weird shadow caught the camera just right. The mind plays tricks, right? But then it happened again. Almost 2 weeks later, different shift. Different area. Another reverse. Another look at the backup cam. And there it was again. Same face. Same position. Just watching, only this time, it smiled. The smile wasn't wide. It wasn't cartoonish or exaggerated. It was a slow, creeping curl of the mouth, like someone who'd finally been noticed. A smile meant for me. My whole body locked up. I slammed the brake, twisted around again, expecting needing to see someone behind the car. Nothing. Just the alleyway behind the restaurant. A dumpster. A flickering STREE to lie GH. Nobody. No movement. No shadow. But when I turned back to the screen, the face was gone. Just asphalt and the edge of the dumpster, like it had never been there, except it had. It had. Because the smile was still burned into my vision. The afterimage pulsing behind my eyes like a migraine I couldn't blink away. I didn't finish my shift. I barely made it home. And that night, I sat on the floor of my living room with the lights all on, feeling like something was inches behind me every time I looked down at my phone. Didn't sleep. The third time I avoided driving for 3 days. Didn't work. Didn't go out at night. Didn't even touch my car, except to grab something from the back seat. But bills pile up fast when you're broke and paranoid. So I forced myself to take a daytime shift. Sunlight helped. Noise helped. The idea of other people being around helped. The irrational certainty that whatever I saw on the camera belonged to the night helped. And for a few hours, everything was normal. No weird sensations. No cold sweat. No watching. Nothing. Until sunset. The order came in at 6:58 p.m. A drop-off to an office park. Normal. Easy. I pulled into the lot as the sky dimmed from orange to gray. Shadows stretching across the asphalt. The loading area was behind the office building. Empty. Quiet. Too quiet. I circled around to reverse into the spot. The second I shifted into reverse, my stomach dropped. The cam flickered. Static. Then dash. The face, closer this time. Too close. Pressed against the glass of the camera lens. Like it was trying to push through it. As if the lens wasn't behind my car, but inside the trunk. The eyes were wide now, black pits. The smile was stretched unnaturally thin, like someone pulling the skin too tight over the teeth. I screamed and slammed the car into drive, tires screeching as I peeled forward. The screen glitched wildly, white static, then black. Then the face flickering like a bad horror movie, before finally cutting out completely. When I dared to look back, the lot was empty, but the air around me felt thick, weighted, like I'd driven through something. Or something had driven through me. I pulled into a gas station and popped the trunk. I don't know what I expected. Scratches, dents, a prankster, evidence of someone hiding inside. But the trunk was spotless, too. Spotless, like it had been cleaned, like someone had been in it. My knees went weak. I shut the trunk and sat in the driver's seat, breathing hard, gripping the wheel so tight my fingers went numb. That's when my phone buzzed, a notification from the Vuz dash cam app I didn't remember. Installing, new footage available. My hands trembled as I tapped the alert. The video showed the interior of my trunk, pitch black. Silent. For 13 seconds. Nothing happened. Then dash, at timestamp 0:14, a pale face rose into view, inches from the camera. As if it had been lying flat in the trunk and lifted its head slowly. It stared directly into the lens, mouth closed, eyes empty. Then the lips moved. Smiling. Not like a living person, like a puppet, being forced upward. My whole body went cold. I deleted the app, the video, everything. Drove home shaking. I parked in the street, slammed the trunk, locked the doors, and ran inside my apartment without looking back. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, heart racing, not sleeping until morning. It didn't happen again for a week. A whole week, 7 days of normal deliveries. Sunshine, sane moments where I could almost convince myself I had imagined it, or dreamt it, or misunderstood something completely ordinary. You can gaslight yourself when you're scared enough, but the night everything broke? There was no misunderstanding. It started like this. My reverse camera automatically turned on at a red light. I hadn't touched anything, wasn't in reverse. I wasn't even moving, but the screen switched anyway. The way a TV does when someone else grabs the remote. At first, the cam showed only darkness. Then, slowly, a shape moved forward from the black, like someone crawling. Closer. Closer, until the face filled the whole screen. White and hollow, mouth stretching open far too wide, like the jaw was unhinging. My breath caught, and then it spoke. Not from the screen, not from the speakers. Not from anywhere outside. The voice was inside my head. Let me out. I screamed and slammed the car into park, shaking so violently the seatbelt cut into my shoulder. The screen began distorting violently, white static, black streaks, the face flickering, multiplying. splitting into dozens of versions of itself, crowding the display. My headlights flickered. The engine coughed. The cabin temperature dropped instantly. My breath fogging the air. And then knock. From the trunk, I froze. A second knock. Louder. More desperate. Knock. Knock. Knocked. My vision blurred with tears. My body refused to move. Then my phone lit up. A notification from the same deleted app. Trunk unlocked. I didn't think. I didn't breathe. I just ran. Left the car. Left everything. I sprinted down the street like something was inches behind me, ready to grab my shoulder and drag me down. I didn't look back. Not once. I reached my apartment, locked the door, and shoved a chair under the handle, called a tow truck the next morning, told them the car died, told them I didn't want it anymore, sold it for scrap without going back for it. I don't drive now. I take buses. I walk. I ride with friends, but I don't drive. I don't go near cameras I can't control. Not in garages, not in rental cars, not on new cars at dealerships. And sometimes on buses. In store windows, in my phone's selfie camera. For the briefest flicker of a second, I see a face behind me. White. Still. Head. Tilted. Smiling. Waiting. Like it followed me out of the trunk. Like it's not done. Like it wants me to see. I knew something was wrong the second I turned onto County Road 14. The road was too dark. Too quiet. The kind of dark that feels thicker than night. Like the whole sky is pressing down on your windshield. Snow was falling in slow, heavy flakes, and every time they hit my headlights, it looked like ash floating in the beam. The order was simple. Drop off to a trailer park outside town. I'd done that area a few times before, but never past midnight and never in winter. The map showed 15 more miles. Just endless tree-lined road and not a single house in sight. I kept adjusting in my seat, trying to fight that gnawing feeling crawling up the back of my neck. And then his headlights appeared behind me. At first, it was nothing. Just another driver on a lonely road. But then, I realized the car wasn't passing me, or slowing down, or doing anything except perfectly matching my speed. 40-2 mph. On the ... every time I sped up. He sped up every time I slowed down. He slowed down. At first, I told myself it was coincidence, or maybe he was nervous driving in the snow. But then he turned off his headlights, not dimmed, not flickered, just off, pitch black behind me. I couldn't even see the shape of the car anymore. Just two faint glimmers of reflection where the headlights used to be, like eyes, watching, swallowed hard and focused on the road. My heart started thudding so loud I could feel it in my fingers. I turned the radio down until the only sound in the car was my breathing and the dull thrum of the tires, cutting over uneven pavement. When I looked in the rear view again, he flashed his high beams. Once bright, enough to bleach the inside of my car white. Then darkness again. Something about that one flash hit me in a place words can't reach. Like he wanted me to know he was still there. Like he wanted to remind me I wasn't alone. Gripped the steering wheel and kept driving. 10 miles to go. Just 10, when I reached the stretch where the road splits around a patch of forest. The car behind me drifted closer. Not by a foot or two, I mean right behind me, inches from my bumper. My whole car shook. I didn't brake because I knew he wanted me to. I whispered, "Please don't hit me," over and over like a prayer. But he IDN single quotes did. He just stayed there. That close. So close I couldn't see his hood. Then he flashed the high beams. Again. Twice this time. Flash. Dark. Flash. Dark. Like he was signaling or testing me. There were no turn-offs. No gas stations. No passing zones. Just that desolate, frostbitten road and the man whose breath, I swear to God, I could feel on the back of my neck through the glass. My phone buzzed in the passenger seat. I jumped so hard I swerved. When I looked, it was the app. Reminder, ongoing delivery. ETA delayed. No shit. When I glanced back at the rear view, the car behind me was changing. Not physically. Just the way it felt before. It was a vehicle. Now it felt like an intent, a presence, a decision someone had made. And I was part of it. At mile marker 72, the road bent slightly, and for a moment, the man's face, or maybe his silhouette, caught the faint glow of my brake lights. He wasn't looking at the road. He wasn't even looking at my car. He was looking up. Into his own rear view, into mine, into my eyes. I jerked my head away from the mirror, so fast my neck cracked. When I looked again, he was still staring. No blinking. No shifting. Head perfectly still, like he wasn't even driving, like someone else was steering for him. I finally spotted the trailer. Park sign ahead. This old rusted metal thing half collapsed in the snow. I've never felt relief like that in my life. But the man behind me reacted. His headlights came back on. Bright. Too bright. He sped up. Not to pass. To stay close. To stay with me. My stomach twisted into a knot. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. My body was locked in this adrenaline-frozen state where every second felt like a countdown to something I didn't understand. I turned into the gravel road leading down to the trailers. It was narrow and winding, and the snow was deep enough that my tires struggled to grab traction. Surely, I thought, he won't follow me into here. He did. The headlights flooded the trees as he turned in behind me, tires crunching through the snow with slow, deliberate weight. The customer's trailer was at the far back, a run-down beige thing with a sagging porch and a yard full of frozen junk. No lights on. No footprints in the snow. The kind of place you don't want to linger at even in daylight. I stopped in front and grabbed the takeout bag with shaking hands. Behind me, the man stopped too. His lights stayed on. Bright. Blinding. Pointed right at me. I stepped out of my car and closed the door quietly, like making noise might trigger something. The cold hit me instantly. That painful kind of cold that feels like needles under your skin. Crunch. His boots. He was getting out. I didn't turn around. Didn't breathe. Didn't move. I walked toward the porch, legs trembling so hard I could hear the fabric of my jeans shaking. Behind me, the car door slammed. Loud. Intentional. Then, hey. His voice was deep. Wrong. Full of something I didn't want to name. I didn't turn around. I placed the bag on the step and took a step backward. The trailer door creaked open. I froze. Someone was inside. A woman's silhouette stood in the doorway, backlit by a single, dim bulb. But she didn't look at me. She looked past me. Straight at him. Her voice came out thin and trembling. Why did you bring him here? My blood ran cold. Like all the heat in my body vanished at once. Behind me, the man laughed. Not loud. Not out of control. Just a small, broken laugh that sounded like it hurt his throat. Then he whispered, close enough that I felt the warmth against my ear. I wasn't following you. My heart stopped. My lungs froze. My vision blurred. He leaned in closer. You were leading me. You were leading me, he said again. And this time I felt his words in my spine. I turned around. I don't know why. Maybe to face him. Maybe because I thought if I didn't, I'd feel him touch me next. He wasn't holding a weapon. But he didn't need one. Because his eyes, they weren't angry or crazy. They were thankful. Like I'd done him a favor. Like he was finally home. The woman on the porch was crying. Not sobbing. Just these tiny, broken sounds. Like her throat was clenching too tight to let the fear out properly. She looked maybe mid-50s. Thin, shoulders slumped in on herself like a wounded animal. Still staring at him. Still not acknowledging me. Like I wasn't the important one anymore. He took a step toward the porch. I stepped in front of him. I don't know what possessed me to do that. Adrenaline, panic, instinct. But I put my arms out and said, "Hey, no, you don't get to do whatever this is." He stopped, smiled, that small, off-kilter smile you sometimes see on people who don't quite get jokes. "I told you," he said. "You brought me here." "No, man," I said, barely breathing. "You followed me. You tailed me for 40 *** miles. I couldn't find it on my own," he whispered. Then louder, "To the woman on the porch, you hid it." She covered her mouth with both hands and shook her head violently. "I didn't. I swear I moved 3 times. Doesn't matter now," he said. "He found you." I backed up. "What the hell are you talking about?" Neither of them answered. He moved toward the porch again. This time, the woman didn't run. She just backed into the doorway slowly, like she'd been here before, like she knew how this would end. I turned, ready to bolt for my car, call 911, do something. But the man turned his head sharply. His voice was calm, but his words cut through the cold like a knife. "If you leave now, he'll follow you next." He didn't say "I'll follow you." He said he. I stopped. Every instinct screamed run. But something deeper, older, rooted me in place. "Who?" I asked. His eyes lit up like I'd said the magic words. "The one you let in." I shook my head. "What?" "The thing in the seat behind you," he said, stepping up onto the porch now. "Didn't you feel it? You thought it was me. But it wasn't. I was just following him." He pointed at my car, parked crooked. Engine still running, interior lights still on, and something moved. In the back seat. I staggered backward. My mouth opened, but no sound came out. The woman on the porch whispered, "He was never after you. You were just the door." I looked at her. She was crying again, only now it was like she wasn't scared of the man anymore. She was scared of what he'd brought. "What is it?" I asked. Neither of them answered. The man just turned back to her and stepped inside. She didn't stop him. The screen door shut behind them with a soft clack. And then the porch light went out. I stood in the snow, paralyzed. Then I heard it. The back door of my car creaking open. Not fast, not loud. Just slow, heavy, like something pushing it from the inside. Turned slowly. The door was open maybe 6 inches, but I couldn't see inside. Not fully, just darkness and steam, like breath fogging the air. And then a shape, someone, something, crawling out. I ran, full sprint through ankle-deep snow. Didn't look back. Couldn't. Just heard the crunching behind me. Not fast, not loud. Deliberate. My foot caught on something, a frozen rut in the dirt road, and I went down hard. My palms slammed the ice. Pain bloomed in my wrist. I scrambled up, panting, slipping, vision swimming. When I looked back, the car door was closed again. The engine was off. Everything was silent. And the trailer? Dark. No porch light. No voices. No man. No woman. Like none of it had ever happened. I limped back to my car, unlocked it, and checked the back seat. Empty. But the seatbelt in the middle was buckled. I never used that seat. Never. I undid the buckle with shaking hands. Heart racing, head screaming, "Don't touch it. Don't touch it." But I had to. I had to know. I drove straight to a gas station 20 miles away. Pulled under the lights. Checked everything. Trunk, back seat. Under the floor mat. Nothing. Just cold air and silence. But the whole way home, I felt it. That pressure in the car. That breath behind my neck. That presence. Like something was sitting behind me. Waiting. That night, I couldn't sleep. I parked on the street instead of the driveway. Pulled the blinds. Sat in the kitchen with every light on. But at 3:17 a.m., my phone buzzed. No caller ID. No name. Just a voicemail. Pressed play with trembling fingers. It was my own voice. From earlier that night. From the porch. Saying, "Hey, no, You don't get to do whatever this is. Then silence. Then something breathing. Slow. Raspy. Wet. Then a voice. Not mine. Not his, not hers. Something. Deeper. It whispered, "You're next." I threw the phone across the room. Didn't sleep at all. The next morning, I tried to forget. To move on, to bury it, but I can't, because now I see it everywhere. On my delivery app. Addresses glitch for a second. Flickering to County Road 14. Before fixing themselves. Customers say they didn't order anything, but still take the bag, eyes wide, staring just behind me. And when I check my rear view, sometimes, in the seat behind mine, there's a middle buckle clipped in every time I unbuckle it. But the next day, it's clipped again. I looked it up. That trailer doesn't exist. That woman isn't on any lease. That man? No plates, no name, no record. And the road? Locals say don't drive it. Past midnight. They say it's cursed. They say it follows you home. And if you ever feel like someone's behind you on a long stretch of road, matching your speed, turning off their lights, tailing you with no expression, you'd better hope they're only watching, because the second they start following, it means the one behind them has already chosen you. I should have listened when she whispered it, but I was tired, hungry, just trying to make it through my shift without crashing my car. So when I handed her the food and she leaned forward, eyes wide, lips trembling, and said, "The food isn't for me," I just gave her an awkward smile and walked away. I thought she was being weird, or dramatic, or maybe someone pranking me on their Ring camera, but now I play that moment over in my head every night. Her voice, her eyes, the desperation in the way she clutched the bag, because I didn't just hand over dinner, I delivered something worse. And I think it followed me home. The order came in at 12:11 a.m. It was late, yeah, but that's not unusual. I work the graveyard shift to avoid traffic and pick up the last-minute surge tips. Normally I stick to the city, condos, apartments, drunk college kids. But this one was out in the suburbs. One of those older neighborhoods with wide lawns and too few streetlights. The order was strange from the start. Just one item, a grilled cheese sandwich. No sides, no drink. And the delivery instructions? Please place food directly in my hands. Creepy, right? But I've seen worse. People with foot fetishes asking for drivers to step on their food. People leaving full essays in the drop-off notes. One time, a guy asked me to knock the rhythm of the national anthem. So place food directly in hands barely registered. I pulled up to the house around 12:30, nice neighborhood. Clean, quiet, big. Older two-story home. All the lights were off, not even the porch light. I double-checked the address. Correct. I grabbed the bag, walked up the driveway, and immediately felt that thing, that off feeling, like the air was holding its breath. The porch creaked under my shoes. I raised my hand to knock, but before I even touched the door, it opened. She was already standing there. Thin, pale, early 30s maybe, wearing a long silk robe like she was sleepwalking. Her eyes locked on mine, not blinking. I didn't even have time to say hi before she reached out, fast and quiet, and snatched the bag from my hands. Then she said it. "The food isn't for me." I hesitated, half laughed. Okay. She stared at me, then looked down at the bag in her hands, then back up. And whispered, barely audible, "It gets angry when it's hungry." My stomach tightened. "Who?" I asked. She didn't answer. Just slowly, silently closed the door. No goodbye. No tip, no nothing. I stood there for a second, unsure what I'd just walked into. Then turned and walked back to my car. That's when I heard the sound, not from inside the house, from above it. The roof. Something. Shifting. Heavy. Slow. I paused at the end of the driveway and looked up. Couldn't see anything, but I felt something. a pressure on my chest. Like something watching. Or waiting. I got in my car and drove off fast. Not even bothering to mark the order as complete until I was 2 blocks away. The rest of the night was quiet, but something about that woman's voice stuck with me. It gets angry when it's hungry. I mean, it could have been an abusive partner, a messed up relationship. Maybe she was scared of someone in the house. I don't know, but the way she said it felt like she wasn't talking about a person. The next night, I got another order to the same house. Different name. Different account. Same time. 12:11 a.m. Same item. Grilled cheese. Same instruction. Please place food directly in my hands. My gut said no. My bank account said otherwise. So I accepted. When I pulled up, same deal. Dark house. No lights, but this time, the door was already open, like she'd been waiting. She stepped into the porch light as I approached. Same woman. Same robe. But she looked worse. Skin pale, eyes darker. Like she hadn't slept in days. I handed her the bag, but before I let go, I said, "Hey, listen, are you okay?" She flinched like I'd touched a bruise. Then she whispered, "It's in the walls now." My breath caught. "What?" She looked over her shoulder. Then leaned in so close, I could smell the sourness on her breath. "It watches through the cracks. And it listens when you say its name." I didn't say anything. I just slowly pulled my hand back, but she grabbed my wrist, tight, nails. Digging in, her voice dropped to a rasp. "Don't say it. Don't look for it. Don't come back." Then she shoved the bag into her own chest like she was trying to muffle it. Turned and shut the door without another word. I walked back to my car. Heart racing. I looked up at the roof again. Nothing. But the porch light. Flickered. Then went out. And in the quiet of that dead neighborhood, I swear I heard it. A creaking sound, like something shifting. Inside the house. Inside the walls. I reported the order as suspicious. Told the app support. Someone might be in danger. That a woman was. Acting like she was being threatened. They sent a canned response and gave me a $5 credit. Cool. Helpful. So I decided not to take any more deliveries. From that zip code, blocked it. Problem solved. Or so I thought. Until 3 nights later, 11:59 p.m., I got a notification. New order added automatically. It wasn't even from the app. It showed up on my phone like a calendar event. Grilled cheese. 12:11 a.m. please. Place food directly in my hands. No way, I checked. The app, no active orders. I checked my settings, the location was still blocked. I checked my recent calls and found a new contact saved in my phone. Name, number, unavailable note. It gets angry when it's hungry. My lights flickered. My phone buzzed again. On your way? I wasn't, but I looked outside anyway. My car headlights were on. My car headlights stayed on, even though I never touched my keys. I stared through the blinds, heart pounding so hard I felt it in my teeth. The car sat there in the driveway like it was waiting for me. Engine silent. Lights bright. Then the phone buzzed again. "You're late." A chill crawled up my back. This wasn't the app anymore. This wasn't even a person. Something was pulling me back to that house. Something hungry. I tried to ignore it. Tried to turn off my phone. Tried to unplug it entirely. It stayed on. And then the next message appeared. All on its own. She can't hold it back much longer. My throat tightened. She could only mean the woman, and I didn't want to know. But I couldn't just sit there. Couldn't pretend I didn't see. Couldn't pretend this wasn't happening. One more message came. A photo, blurry, night, vision green, taken through what looked like a crack in the wall. The woman was in frame, standing in the middle of her living room, eyes wide, hands over her ears, behind her a long, Dark shape curled up along the ceiling like a centipede of shadows. My breath caught in my throat. Grabbed my keys. I don't know why. Instinct. Panic. Guilt. Or maybe something else guiding me. The drive back. The road to her neighborhood felt longer this time. No music. No thoughts. Just the sound of my heartbeat and the jittering of the streetlights as I passed beneath them. Halfway there, something thumped in the trunk. Not loud. Just a quick, dull hit, like a fist against the inside. I almost swerved. Gripped the wheel until my knuckles hurt. Another thump. Then tapping. Fast. Tapping. Like fingernails skittering along the metal. I didn't stop. I didn't look. I just kept driving. Her house was dark again when I arrived. No porch light. No street noise. No wind. Like the whole world was waiting. I parked at the curb and forced myself to step out. The air felt thick, humid, warm, but the night was freezing. My breath fogged in front of me. The house windows were black. No movement. No sound. But as I walked up the path, the front door opened. Only a crack, like before, only this time it wasn't her. A hand reached out through the opening. Thin. Pale. Trembling. The same hand that took the food from me the first night, holding nothing. Waiting. But there was something wrong with it. Something stretched under the skin, like tendons pulled too tight. Like the bones weren't the right shape anymore. My voice came out weak. Where is she? The hand twitched. Then pointed. Up. To the roof. A cold weight dropped into my stomach. I stepped back. The hand disappeared, and the door closed with a soft, final click. The roof. I didn't want to look. Didn't want to see. But I lifted my head, and there she was, the woman, standing on the roof. Feet bare in the frost. Air hanging in clumps around her face. She wasn't shivering. She wasn't crouching for balance. She wasn't afraid of slipping. She stood perfectly still, facing me. Her mouth hanging open, like she was screaming silently. I whispered, "What is happening to you?" Her head twitched, a fast, unnatural jerk. Then another, and then she spoke. Her voice wasn't her voice anymore. It was deeper. Twisted. Like something inside her was speaking for her. "You brought it the first night." My chest tightened. "Brought what?" Her jaw cracked wider. "It followed your warmth." I stepped back, heart pounding against my ribs. "You need help," I said. "Come down, feedite." The scream tore through the night, echoing across the empty street. I stumbled backward, slipping on the icy driveway. From behind me, a click. My car trunk. Opening. Slow. On its own. Turned. My breath caught in my lungs. A shape rose from the trunk. Long. Angular. Too many joints bending the wrong way, like a person who'd been folded into a suitcase for years. No face. Just skin. Smooth, pale skin stretched across something that shouldn't move, but it moved. And the woman on the roof? She dropped to her knees and started sobbing. "I told you not to come back." The thing in the trunk had crawled out of my trunk like a starving animal, jerking forward in quick, unnatural motions. Not walking, not slithering. Something between both. And every time it moved, its limbs made a soft cracking sound, like knuckles being popped. But deeper, wet. It turned toward the house, toward the woman. And when it reached the porch, it pressed its head, or whatever part of it resembled a head, against the door. Slowly. Lovingly. The same way a dog noses its owner's hand. The door swung open without anyone touching it. I could see inside. Hallway walls were cracked open, not from age, from something pushing through. Then dark veins of rot spreading from the corners, like the house itself was sick. The thing crawled inside. The woman screamed. Ran. I should have left. I got to my car, slammed the door, locked it, and fumbled for the ignition. The engine wouldn't start. The dashboard lights flickered. My radio turned on. Full volume, blasting static so loud it shook the windows. I covered my ears. Screaming. Then through the static, a voice broke through. Her voice. Weak. Barely audible. Help me. Please, don't let it eat again. The static swallowed her. Then the radio cut to silence. My phone buzzed. New message. Bring more. I stared at the screen in horror. Another message appeared. It's still hungry. And then a photo. Taken from inside the house. The woman in the hallway. Pinned against the wall. Her limbs. Stretched unnaturally long. Like taffy pulled too far. Her eyes rolled back. And in the foreground, a pale hand, reaching for her throat. Not hers, not the thing's. A hand with my wrist tattoo. My breath froze. I looked at my own hand. Normal, not stretched, not pale, but in the photo. The hand choking her was mine. Another message popped up. Come finish what you started. Back inside, my thoughts were scrambled. Nothing made sense. My heart hammered against my ribs like it wanted to escape. Every instinct screamed run. But something deeper, something strange, whispered, you need to finish the delivery, against my will. My door unlocked. Click. I tried to lock it again. It unlocked. Itself. Click. Again. Click. I couldn't breathe. Finally, the handle jerked downward. Then upward. Like someone testing it. I threw my weight against it. Holding it shut. Something whispered through the crack. It's for you this time. The porch groaned. The front door of the house creaked. Open wider. The woman's voice cracked through the night. Don't let it in. Too late. My back door swung open. With a violent snap. Cold air rushed in. I didn't see anything, but I felt fingers brush the back of my neck. Light at first. Then tightening. The finale. I don't remember the next few minutes. Just fragments. Screaming. The sound of wood splintering. Footsteps that weren't footsteps. Voice repeating my name over and over until it didn't sound like my name anymore. When I came back to myself, I was inside her house. The woman was on the floor. Her eyes were open. Her chest wasn't moving. The walls pulsed, like something inside them was breathing. And the thing? The folded, too long, too empty thing? It sat in the corner, not moving, waiting, like a pet beside its owner, and beside it, on the floor, a grilled cheese sandwich, untouched, burnt around the edges, cooling, rotting, not for her, not for me, for a and then I realized the woman had never been feeding it. She had been starving it, trying to keep it weak, trying to keep it slow, trying to keep it contained. And me? I delivered its meals. Every time I handed her that bag, I was helping it grow stronger, helping it notice me, helping it choose me. The ending, I don't remember leaving the house. I don't remember driving home. Don't remember getting into bed. But I woke up this morning with something cold and heavy on my chest. A plate, a sandwich, not grilled. Cheese. Something else. Something darker. My phone buzzed beside it. A new message. Tonight. Place the food directly in my hands. The sender? My own number. And over the last hour, the walls in my apartment have started making noises. Scraping. Breathing. Hungry. Waiting. The first time I heard the crying under the porch, I thought it was a cat. That's what it sounded like, high-pitched, choppy, weak. But the second time I heard it, I realized it wasn't a cat. And by the third time, I knew I should have driven away and never looked back. But IDN single quotes T. And now I can't stop hearing it. Even when I sleep. It was a late Sunday run. My last order of the night. One of those single item ones. Just a meatball sub and a Coke. Rural drop, 25 minutes outside the city. I normally decline those, but it paid double and I needed gas money. The direction said, White House at the end of Dogwood Lane. Please leave on porch. Do not knock. Do not knock. Weird request, but okay. I followed GPS through winding back roads, past acres of woods, no signs of life for miles, no cell signal. The kind of silence that made your ears ring. Dogwood Lane wasn't really a lane, more like a gravel path punched into the woods, 1 car wide. Branches scraped the sides of my car the whole way. By the time I reached the house, I was already creeped out. It was old, 2-story, leaning a little. White paint peeled off in strips, porch sagged at the center. A bare bulb above the door buzzed faintly. I parked at the base of the steps and got out with the bag. The air was freezing, still. No wind. No sound, not even bugs. I placed the food down carefully, snapped the photo, and was halfway back to my car when I heard it. The crying. Soft, muffled. From under the porch. I froze. It wasn't cat-like anymore. It sounded human. Small. Like a child trying not to sob too loud. My whole body tensed. I crouched down, squinting toward the lattice beneath the porch steps. I couldn't see much, just darkness, dead leaves, a scrap of cloth. Then I heard it again, a tiny voice, barely above a whisper. Help me. I jumped to my feet and looked around. No movement. No lights in the windows. I was this close to walking up and knocking on the door, rules be damned, when I remembered the note. Do not knock. And suddenly, I felt like I wasn't supposed to be here. Not just trespassing, interfering. Still, I couldn't ignore that voice. I crouched again, this time closer, and whispered, Hey, are you okay? Silence. Then closer this time. It took my mom. A chill ran through me. Who did? I asked. No answer. Just soft crying. Then, rustling. Deep under the porch. Like someone crawling on elbows and knees, dragging something behind them. I stood up fast, heart pounding. Then I saw it. A hand. Tiny, pale, reaching between the slats in the porch. 5 little fingers, twitching in the cold air. I stepped back instinctively. Hang on. I'm calling someone, I said, pulling out my phone. No service. Of course. I looked back down. The hand was gone. Nothing but leaves and shadow. Then I heard the porch door open behind me. I turned. A woman stood in the doorway. Late 40s, long gray sweater, face pale and drawn. She didn't say anything, just stared at me. I lifted the bag of food, stumbling over my words. I dropped it off, but someone's under your porch. A kid, I think. They said they need help. She blinked slowly, then said flatly, There's no child here. Ma'am, I said, voice cracking. I heard them. They said something about their mom. I saw a hand. She glanced past me toward the crawl space, then back at me. Don't listen to it. I blinked. What? She stepped forward, shutting the door behind her, voice low, tired. It's not a child. It just sounds like one. Excuse me. She walked past me and crouched by the crawl space, pulling a plank of loose wood off the frame. I blocked the entrance last spring, but it keeps pulling it off. What keeps pulling it off? She didn't answer right away. She leaned in, whispered into the dark, You're not welcome here. The air around us suddenly felt heavier. Like the cold thickened, a long moment passed. Then, from deep in the crawl space, the voice again, Mommy, I'm cold. The woman's face twisted in pain, but she didn't flinch. She placed the plank back over the hole and stood up. Without looking at me, she said, Don't come back here again. I stood there stunned. Shouldn't we, I don't know, call someone? There's no signal out here. Then drive somewhere that does. You said it's not a kid, but what if it is? What if it's real? She looked at me finally, and in her eyes I saw something worse than fear. Resignation. She whispered. It only cries when it's hungry. Then she turned and walked inside, locked the door, and shut off the porch light, leaving me alone. In the dark. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard the voice. Help me. Please don't leave me. The worst part? A small, sick part of me wanted to go back, just to hear it again, to understand it. The next day, I searched everything. No missing kids in that area. No news. Nothing on Google Maps. No business listing for the address. It was like the house didn't exist. Outside my app. I reported the delivery as suspicious. They sent me a $4 tip adjustment and told me to drive safe. The next night, I got another order. Same house. Same item. Meatball sub. Same note. Leave on porch. Do not knock. I didn't accept the order. At least, I don't remember accepting it. But when I looked outside at 11:58 p.m., my car lights were already on. Engine faintly rumbling like someone had started it for me. My keys sat on the counter. Still. But my phone buzzed with a new notification. Order in progress, Dogwood Lane, I whispered. No, but the word didn't feel like it belonged to me anymore. It felt thin, weak. A leaf falling into an ocean. The thing under the porch was calling me back. And whatever lived in that crawl space was hungry. The drive back, the night felt wrong. Too dark. Not moonless, just drained. Like the sky had been painted over in black ink. The deeper I drove into the rural back roads, the more I felt it. Like something unseen was hitching a ride in the back seat. My headlights showed almost nothing. The beams seemed to die early in the air. Swallowed by cold, I passed the last traffic light 15 minutes in and didn't see a single car. Afterward, just trees, silent, watching. When I turned onto Dogwood Lane, my stomach twisted. The air felt thick, heavy, like breathing through wet cloth. And far ahead in the dark, a faint porch light flickered once, then went still, then went out. The house. Again, I parked my car much further back this time, near the start of the driveway. I didn't want to be close. I didn't want to give whatever was inside that house a straight path to me. But the moment I stepped out, I heard it. A small, broken voice. Help me. I froze. The same voice as before. Same cadence. Same weakness, only this time. It came quicker, more desperate, more eager. Please, it whispered from under the porch. Don't leave me here. My pulse hammered in my ears. I'm not falling for this. Silence, then a low, trembling breath from the darkness. Please don't say that. The way the voice cracked on the last word made the hair on my arm stand straight up. I took slow steps toward the porch. The house loomed over me, wood warped and silent. No lights on inside. No sign of the woman. Just the crawl space, black as a dead star. The woman returns. I reached the first porch step before I could go up. The front door creaked open. The woman stood there, but she wasn't the same. Her eyes were sunken, dark circles beneath them like bruises. Her skin looked thinner. Her hair hung in damp strands. She stepped forward into the porch light's weak glow. You came back, she whispered. I didn't want to, I said. That's how it works, she replied quietly. Once it knows you heard it, it doesn't let you stop hearing it. I swallowed thickly. It sounded like a kid. She winced, like the word itself hurt. It's not. Then what is it? She glanced at the crawl space opening. It's older than this house. Older than this land. I don't know how long it's been here, but it mimics whatever gets your attention. I shivered. It said it took your mom. She shook her head slowly. That wasn't my voice it stole. A chill went through me. Before I could ask anything else, the voice cried out from under the porch. Mommy, please, don't let Ida get me. My breath caught. The woman stiffened. Don't listen, she whispered harshly. That's exactly what it wants. I looked at the crawl space, and something inside me broke, because I heard the fear in that voice, real fear, not imitation. Not trickery. Fear. What if it's real? I asked. It's not. How do you know? Her answer came like a stone dropping. because it sounds just like my sister did the day she died. The crawl space moves as scratching. Sound came from deep under the porch. Slow, deliberate, dragging. The voice whimpered. I'm stuck. Help me, please help me. Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't move toward it. She clutched her sweater and whispered, it wants you to pull the wood away. It wants you close enough to grab. My hands shook violently. Then something thumped against the floorboards beneath my feet. Hard, close. I stumbled back. Another thump. Louder. Closer. Knocking. From under the porch, right beneath where I'd just stood. Then the voice rose again, but now distorted, like two voices layered. Help me. Feed me. My blood turned to ice. I looked at the woman. We need to leave. She nodded, then stopped. Her eyes widened. Something caught her attention over my shoulder. She whispered, it's crawling out. The thing emerges. I turned slowly. A hand pushed through the crawl space slats. Not a child's hand, a long, gray hand with too many knuckles, bending unnaturally. The skin stretched tight like rawhide. The fingers were twice as long as they should. Twitching, searching, grasping, and then a second hand. Then a face. A pale, featureless shape forced itself between the slats. Not a human face. More like a melted mask stretched over bone. Holes where eyes should be. A crack where a mouth should be. And from the crack, the sound of a child crying. The woman screamed, run! But I didn't, because something was wrong. The creature wasn't crawling toward me. It was crawling past me, toward her. The chase. She bolted inside the house. I followed. We slammed the door behind us. She locked the deadbolt. Chest heaving. Then scratch on the other side of the door. Slow. Testing. Why is it after you? I gasped. She shook her head, tears streaming. Because it knows I'm the only one who can keep it weak. She grabbed my arm. I need your help. Just this once, please. Her fingers dug into my skin with desperate strength. I nodded without meaning to, whether it was fear or duty or something manipulating me. I don't know. She led me down the hall toward a door, old, wooden, locked with a heavy sliding bolt. What's down there? I asked. The rest of it. My stomach dropped. The rest? She looked at me with hollow eyes. It's too big to stay in one place. Before she could open the bolt. Thump. The front door shook. Thump. Thump. Harder. Faster. Something slammed into it with unnatural force. Wood splintered. The frame shook. She whispered, it's starving. The basement. She yanked the bolt and threw open the door. A staircase led into pitch black. A smell hit me instantly. Rotting wood. Earth. And something else, sweet, like decayed fruit. Quick, she said, grabbing my hand. If we lock it down there again, it'll go dormant. Maybe for months. I hesitated. Why me? She swallowed hard. You delivered to it. You fed it. It knows your scent now. Something cracked above us. A window shattered. She pulled me down the stairs. I didn't resist. Darkness swallowed us. At the bottom, she flicked on a lantern. Dim. Yellow light filled the space, and I saw massive holes in the walls. Not dug. Eaten. The earth chewed into like softened clay. Something had tunneled through the house. Under it. Around it, connecting every part of it like a labyrinth of hungry mouths. What do we do? I whispered. She pointed toward a tunnel. We dragged the boards. Seal the openings. Trap it. I nodded. We each grabbed a plank. And then something scraped. Directly above us. Shadows shifted. Dust fell from the ceiling. She whispered, it's in the walls. The final moment we worked fast, sweat mixing with cold air. Nails hammered with shaking hands, blocking tunnel after tunnel. But every time we sealed one, a new sound echoed from another. A cry, a whisper, a giggle, then a voice behind us. Don't leave me. The woman's face went pale. That's not it. I turned. In the lantern light, halfway up the stairs, stood a child, a girl. Barefoot. Dirty. Trembling. She looked up at us, eyes wide. Please help me, she whispered. It took my mom. My throat tightened. She looked so real. So human. I took a step forward. The woman grabbed me. Hard. That's it, she hissed. Don't you see? It's trying to split itself, to confuse us. The child thing tilted its head. Then its neck bent too. Far. Then more. Then snapped all the way around. Without breaking skin, the face stayed the same, the eyes didn't. Blink. And from the mouth came a deeper, older voice. Hungry. I froze. The woman screamed. The lantern flickered. The child thing lunged. Fast. Too fast. I shoved the woman aside, and the thing slammed into me, knocking the lantern from my hand. Darkness, weight on my chest, hands, too many hands gripping my shoulders. My throat, my cheeks, voices overlapping. Help. Hungry. Mommy. Don't leave me. Feed me. It was every voice it had ever stolen, every cry it had ever mimicked. Every human weakness it weaponized. I felt myself slipping, like it was pulling something out of me. Not blood, not breath, something deeper. Then light. The woman slammed the lantern into its face. The thing shrieked, a sound like metal bending, and recoiled into the tunnel. She grabbed my arm and dragged me toward the stairs. We ran. We collapsed out the front door just as the wood behind us buckled inward. The house groaned. Then went silent. Completely silent. Aftermath. I don't know how long we sat in the snow. Minutes. Hours. We didn't speak. When dawn broke, she whispered, if it escaped, it'll find someone else. I swallowed painfully. Did we kill it? She shook her head. A tear rolled down her cheek. You can't kill something that was never alive. We stood, looked at the house. It looked normal. Peaceful. Like nothing had happened. Like the tunnels beneath it weren't still twitching. Like the voices inside them weren't still whispering. Then my phone buzzed. Notification. New order. Dogwood Lane meatball sub. Leave on porch. Do not knock. The woman stared at my screen, horrified. No, she whispered. It can't be calling you already. Another notification popped up. Hungry. And behind us, under the porch, very faint, a child's voice. Help me. It started with rain. Every time it rained, and I mean every single time, I'd get the same delivery request. Same address, same order, same message, leave at door. No need to knock. Thank you. It was always a grilled cheese with tomato soup. Nothing else. And the address? A cabin, way out. Like, way out. Miles past where cell service cuts off, near a lake nobody swims in anymore. One long gravel driveway. Overgrown trees, no visible neighbors. Creepy, but doable. I only took it the first time because the tip was massive. $30. I remember thinking, must be some rich recluse craving comfort food during storms. Seemed innocent enough. But after the third time, it stopped feeling like a coincidence. The first time, it was a warm spring rain. I drove through the downpour with the wipers maxed out and visibility still crap. Pulled up to the cabin, old, gray, sagging porch, single light on above the door. No car in the drive. No sounds. I left the bag, snapped a photo, and turned to go. As I walked back to my car, the porch light flickered. I looked back. Bag was gone. Doors still shut. I hadn't heard it open. Second time was even weirder. Same stormy night. Same order. I drove up and everything looked exactly the same, except this time. The porch light was already flickering when I arrived. like it knew I was coming. I left the food, but as I walked back down the steps, I felt something behind me, like eyes pressing between my shoulder blades. When I got back in the car and checked my rear view, the bag was gone again. Instantly. I hadn't heard a door. I hadn't heard a thing. By the fourth time, I was spooked. I told myself I'd decline the next one. I'd block the address. I didn't want to end up on some local Reddit thread under things you shouldn't deliver to in the backwoods. But then the fifth time came, and I didn't even see the order come in. It was just in my queue. Already accepted. Same grilled cheese. Same soup. It rained all day. I was 30 minutes out before I even realized where I was headed, and I swear, when I looked at the GPS, it glitched that the road name changed for a split second from Macadam's Lake RD to something like He Will Come Again. Then flicked back when I pulled up to the cabin that night. I sat in the car for a full minute before getting out. The porch light was off, totally dark, but the rain had slowed. It was that soft, steady drizzle that seems to suck the sound out of everything. Climbed the porch steps and the door opened. Not fully, just a few inches. I froze. The light inside was dim. Warm yellow. And the smell. Tomato soup. Toasted bread. Already cooking. A voice from inside. Low male, calm. Come in, please. I can't get up. I didn't move. I'm just in the chair, the voice added. Can you set the tray down? I looked down at the bag. I hadn't brought a tray. Something about that moment made my gut twist. I'm just a delivery guy. I said. No answer. Just rain. I backed away slowly. The door stayed cracked open. The porch light flickered once, then came on. I left the bag on the steps and walked back to the car. When I drove away, I didn't check the rear view. Not this time. I didn't want to see if the bag was already gone. The next morning, I checked my delivery history. The cabin orders? Gone. No record. No payment logs. No tip history. No customer name, like they were never there. But the worst part? Later that afternoon, it rained again, and I got a notification. He's ready for you. I stared at the notification like it was a threat. He's ready for you. Not a customer name. Not an order. Not from the app at all. Just those 4 words. And outside, barely audible through my apartment window, I heard it. Rain. Light. Steady rain. Falling exactly like the night before. I didn't accept anything. But as soon as the rain hit full rhythm, my phone buzzed again. Delivery in progress. Macadam's Lake RD ETA. 23 minutes. Status: you are en route. Wasn't driving. I wasn't moving. But the map showed my little blue icon already. Halfway to the woods. Then I heard it. My car. Engine. Running. Outside. Waiting. The road pulls me. Don't remember grabbing my keys. I don't remember walking outside. One moment I was standing at the window, and the next I was stepping into my car. The interior lights glowing like a mouth welcoming me back. The rain smacked the windshield in thin, cold streaks as I pulled onto the highway. It happened again. The same impossible weight pressing on me. The same foggy feeling in my head. Like someone else laid a hand on my shoulder and steered when I hesitated. My GPS glitched. Twice on the way, once showing me arrived, even though I was still 7 miles out. Once showing the cabin with a red warning banner. Returning customer, and every time I blinked, it felt like the trees leaned closer. The cabin at night by the time I pulled up. I was shaking. The cabin looked exactly the same. Same sagging porch. Same crooked roofline. Same dead woods behind it, but this time, no lights. Not even the porch bulb. Just darkness. And the sound of rain on old wood. I sat in the car gripping the steering wheel, breath fogging the cabin, repeating to myself, "Don't get out. Don't walk up there. Don't answer it. Then from the porch. Slammed out the door shut. Hadn't seen it open. I hadn't seen anyone go. Inside, but it had shut hard enough that water shook. Off the roof. I opened my phone with trembling hands. No notifications. No. Order. Nothing in my queue. But when I looked through the windshield, a light came on inside the cabin. Soft. Yellow. Familiar. Like the first night. Against every instinct. I got out. The voice returns. The rain felt colder out here. It soaked through my jacket instantly. Ran into my shoes, dripped down my neck, freezing every nerve along my spine. I stepped onto the porch. The old boards groaned under my weight. Before I could knock, before I could even set down the bag I brought out of habit, the voice came again. Same low, calm tone. Only now it was closer, right on the other side of the door. Come in. Please, I can't get up. My skin crawled. No, I said, voice shaking. I'm not stepping inside. What do you want from me? No answer. Just the rain. Then something tapped the glass by the door. Soft. Rhythmic. Like knuckles. Or fingertips. Tap. Tap. I stepped back. Then the door creaked open. A few inches. Just like every other time. But this time, I leaned forward. I don't know why. Curiosity. Fear. Compulsion. Call it whatever you want. But when I looked inside, I saw him. The man in the chair. An old man sat in a recliner facing the door. Blanket over his legs. Hands resting in his lap. Eyes half open. Not blinking. Not breathing. Not moving. Not even when lightning flashed behind me, lighting up the whole room. His skin looked pale, paper thin, dusty, like he hadn't moved in days, weeks, maybe longer. But his lips moved. Barely. And that same voice whispered, "You took long enough." I stepped back, shaking my head. No, I'm not doing this. You're dead. The porch boards behind me creaked, like someone else stepped onto them. Slowly. 1 foot at a time. Turned around. No one there. But the rain behind me stopped. Instantly. Cut off mid-drop. Like someone paused the world. Silence swallowed the forest. Only my breathing remained. And the faint hum of the porch light. The same porch light that had just flickered back on. An impossible memory. The man in the chair whispered again. "You used to bring it to me." My stomach nodded. What? Lightning flashed, and for a split second, something changed inside the house. The walls, the floor. His shape. Something about the room looked older, different, wrong. Then the light died, and everything snapped back. He whispered, "Don't you remember?" I shook my head violently. "I've never been here except for deliveries." He cut me off. "You have." His voice was deeper this time. Hollow. Empty. "I ordered every time it rained, because every time it rained, you came back." My vision blurred. The edges of my memory felt wrong. Soft. Foggy. Like there was something missing. Something I'd forgotten, or been made to forget. "I don't know you," I whispered. But even as I said it, something in my chest tightened. A flash. A sensation. Anger. Holding a bag of food. Rain on my face. A door creaking. Open. This door. This porch. This man. This cabin. No. I whispered. "That's impossible." "I've never—" "Yes," he said sharply. "You have." His fingers spasmed, and his head jerked upward, revealing that his eyes, though open, were not seeing me. They were clouded. Rotten. Dead. "I've been waiting for you to remember. Why he keeps ordering." I stumbled backward, heart pounding. "You're dead. You're dead." "I can't leave," he rasped. "Not until you bring me the last meal." "What meal?" He smiled, slow and brittle. "Yourself." The door slammed open. Wind exploded from inside the cabin. Rain sprayed backward. The air went freezing cold. Behind me, the forest groaned like something enormous was waking up. I turned to run, and a hand grabbed my shoulder. Cold, wet, too tight. I didn't look back. I couldn't. But a voice whispered in my ear, right behind me, "Don't make me order again." The trees shook. The rain stopped. Something in the woods, something huge, exhaled. And the hand on my shoulder tightened. The escape, if you can call it that, broke free. I don't know how. I sprinted through the rain, shoes slipping on mud and gravel. I didn't look behind me. I didn't breathe. I didn't think. I reached my car, fumbled the keys, got inside, locked the doors. The porch light flickered once. The cabin door began to close, and before it shut entirely, I saw the man still sitting there, unmoving, dead, waiting. His head tilted slightly, like he could hear my heartbeat. From across the yard. Then slam. The door closed. Lights off. Rain gone. Silence. I tore out of that driveway, faster than I've ever driven in my life. Didn't look in the rear view. Didn't look at the woods. Didn't look at the porch. Last message I made at home near dawn. Collapsed on the kitchen floor. Slept until noon. When I woke up, my phone buzzed. One unread notification. A new order. Same address. Same meal. But a different message. You forgot the soup. Then another. It's going to rain again tonight. I checked the weather app with shaking hands. 0.100%. Chance of thunderstorms. At 7 p.m. The exact hour his orders always came. In the exact hour I always ended up there. The exact hour he said, "You came back every time." And even now, sitting in my apartment, far from that lake, far from the woods, I swear I smell tomato soup. I've delivered to all kinds of homes, mansions, trailers, sketchy motels, halfway houses, but nothing ever shook me like the night they left the baby on the doorstep. It wasn't just what happened. It was how quiet everything was. How normal it looked, and how fast the guilt started eating me alive after I walked away. Because if I'd made a different choice, if I'd picked it up, maybe none of this would have happened. It started like any other delivery. Single order, prepaid. 2 chicken sandwiches. Suburb right outside the city. The note said, "Leave at the door. No need to knock." I rolled up to the house around 11:40 p.m. Clean, quiet neighborhood. Every lawn trimmed. No cars on the street, but the house itself was off. Not run down. Not sketchy. Just still. No porch light. No lights on inside. But the windows were open. All of them. In November. In the middle of the night. Weird, right? I stepped onto the porch, bag in hand, and the first thing I noticed was the silence. No TV inside. No murmuring voices. No dogs, no bugs. Not even wind. Just the kind of stillness that makes your ears ring. I set the food down. Snapped a picture. And then I saw the box, tucked to the left of the doormat. At first, I thought it was a donation package. Some neighbors leave canned goods or baby clothes for pickup. But this wasn't a donation bin. It was a car seat, and inside, a baby. Real. Tiny. Wrapped in a stained towel. No sound. No movement. Just eyes wide open, glassy, staring up at me. I froze. My stomach dropped. No F*** king way. I crouched down. "Hey," I whispered, "you okay, little one?" Nothing. The baby didn't cry. Didn't blink. Didn't even twitch, but it was breathing. I could see the chest rise. Slow and shallow, and tucked between its little hands was a sticky note. "Do not bring it back." Inside, I looked around. Still no sound. From inside the house, I knocked once, twice. Nothing. I rang the bell. No response. I even peeked through the nearest window. Just darkness and a hallway that felt somehow too empty. like everything had been removed in a hurry. That's when I noticed something else. The baby didn't smell like a baby. It smelled rotten, not like a diaper or spit up, more like milk that had sat out for days. Thick and sour. I gagged and backed up, but my eyes kept going back to the note. Do not bring it back inside. The way it was worded. It wasn't meant for me. It was meant for someone else. I tried calling the apps. Emergency line. No signal. I stepped off the porch. Phone lit up with bars. I called 911. They picked up. Finally, I explained everything. The dispatcher asked for the address. I gave it. She paused. Then said, "Repeat that." I did. Another pause. Then she asked, "What are you really calling about, sir?" "What? That house burned down 2 months ago. No one's living there." The dispatcher's words hit like ice water. That house burned down 2 months ago. I stared at the front door, at the clean siding, at the porch under my feet. "You sure?" I asked, voice cracking. "I'm standing on the porch. There's no fire damage. No tape. The windows are open. There's a baby here." More silence on her end. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Sir, if you're on that porch, you need to leave. Right now." I backed down the steps. Fast. Every step felt like walking away from something I wasn't meant to see. The car seat still sat there. The baby still didn't cry, still breathing, still staring, still. Wrong. I turned to leave. I told myself the cops would be here soon. And I'd done my part, but something stopped me. The silence broke, not with crying but with laughter, a low, breathy, gurgling giggle. Like a baby, first learning how to copy emotion. I turned back. It was smiling at me. But not a baby smile. Not curious or playful, a knowing smile. A smile like it recognized me. Like it had been waiting. Took a step back, and that's when I noticed the towel it was wrapped in. It wasn't just stained. It was covered in tiny symbols. Drawn in something dark. Something dried, like someone had scribbled a language around the child's body, over and over. A circle, with jagged lines through it, repeating again and again across the fabric. That's when I realized. It wasn't a towel. It was a binding, a seal, a warning. Front door creaked. I whipped around. It was still shut, but the sound had definitely come from the house. Then, tap, tap. The window beside me. I looked and saw movement inside. Not a person. Not exactly, more like a shape, thin, tall, peering out from behind the far hallway. Just enough to be seen, just enough to be felt. I stepped off the porch so fast I nearly fell. The baby, if it was a baby, started making noise again, but not crying. Just that strange little giggle, like it enjoyed watching me realize the truth. I got back in the car, hands shaking, slammed the door, locked it, and called dispatch again. Same woman picked up. I said, "I'm still here. It's real. I'm looking right at it." Her voice came back quieter this time. "Are you saying the baby is still there?" "Yes." Another pause. She exhaled through her nose. "I need you to listen to me. This is going to sound insane, but try me," I snapped. "We've had 5 calls like this over the past year. Same house. Same porch. Same baby." My throat dried out. "What?" "It only shows up when someone new delivers to that address." "So what happened to the others?" Silence. "Then, we don't know. They never made it back." I looked up at the porch again. The car seat was empty. I blinked. No. No. I slammed the car into reverse and backed halfway down the street. Eyes darting in every mirror. No baby. No shape. No sound. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Where did you take it?" I dropped the phone. Hit drive. Tore down the street like my life depended on it, because it did. Later that night I made it home. Locked every door. Pushed furniture against them. Didn't sleep. At 3:07 a.m. the porch light flickered. I looked through the PEEPOL, nothing there. But when I checked the front step in the morning, a piece of paper folded taped to my doormat it just said, "You left it alone. Now it's yours." Now it's been 3 days. I haven't worked since, every time it rains. I swear I hear giggling under my floorboards. Sometimes. I catch movement on my baby monitor app, even though I don't have a kid. Just a flicker. A small swaddled figure. Too still. Too patient. Waiting. Last night, I checked the front door. Car seat. Same. Baby. Same note. Do not bring it back inside. I didn't touch it. I didn't even breathe near it. I closed the curtains, but I can still hear it. Right. Now. Giggling. And under the giggle, something else crawling. Inside my walls. Behind the drywall. Following me room to room. Like it wants me to turn around, like it wants me to see it. I didn't hear the sound until the 3rd stop of my shift. At first, I thought it was just the plastic bag rustling. Or maybe the radio picking up static. You know how cars get. Every noise feels amplified when you're alone at night, especially when you're exhausted. But this wasn't road noise. This was breathing, shallow, inconsistent. From the back seat, I turned the volume down and listened. Nothing. But my chest stayed tight the rest of the night. Because once your brain asks, what if you're not alone? It's almost impossible to answer it with certainty. The shift started normal. Thursday night, 10 p.m., I had 5 hours blocked. I usually do okay running late-night orders in the suburbs. Fewer people, less traffic. More tips from drunk college kids ordering ice cream and fries. My car's a 2014 Civic. Clean. Small. Familiar. Every creak and rattle is accounted for. But that night, the air inside the car felt different. Heavy. Not hot. Not cold. Just occupied. I told myself I was being dramatic. I hadn't eaten dinner. My neck hurt. I needed coffee. Fine. But then I made my 3rd delivery. And when I got back in the car, I sat in the driver's seat and, without thinking, glanced at the rear view. And for a second, I thought I saw someone duck, just a shape, a shift in the shadow. Gone by the time I blinked, whipped my head around. Nothing. Just my hoodie on the seat. My water bottle. Empty back seat, but my hands were shaking, and I kept glancing back every few seconds. At my 5th stop, I sat in the car an extra minute, trying to catch up on breath. I didn't realize I'd lost. That's when I heard it. That sound, not breathing this time, not rustling. Just a tiny, moist cough. Like a dry throat in a still room, from the back seat. I didn't move, didn't turn. Just gripped the steering wheel and stared at the windshield. Tried to breathe slow. I whispered, "Get out of my ****kin car." Nothing. Just the low idle of the engine. Then cough. Again. Closer. I snapped around, fast. Nothing. Seat empty. Backpack still in the footwell. Hoodie still crumpled. I turned on the dome light. Stared. Nothing. But the air back there. It felt humid, like breath had been collecting in the space. Like someone had been waiting. I checked the doors. All locked. Windows up, trunk shut. I even pulled over and opened the doors. Turned on all the lights. Checked under the seats. Empty. Clean. Nothing to explain it. I thought about going home, but rent's due, and I figured if I was gonna go crazy, I might as well make a few bucks doing it. The 6th delivery, this one sent me to a rural edge of town, where streetlights are sparse and GPS gets shaky. I didn't like going that far out. But the tip was big, and the food was ready. As I drove down the winding back road, I kept glancing in the rearview mirror. Still nothing, but around mile 5. The smell changed. Not strong. Just off. Like warm meat left in a plastic bag. Or breath. Wet, recycled, not your own. I opened a window. Nothing helped. dot, and then, at the red light before the turnoff. My car shook dot just once, like someone shifted their weight in the back seat. I turned fast dot, nothing dot again dot, but the seatbelt behind me was twisted. I hadn't touched it. Nobody had been back there dot at least. No one I could see dot, then my phone buzzed. New message from the delivery app. But there was no name dot, no customer ID dot, just a message. Stop looking. My hands went cold dot, another message came in instantly. Eyes forward. I dropped my phone on the passenger seat and stared straight ahead. The red light turned green. I didn't move. I didn't blink. I just whispered, "What do you want?" No answer dot, not right away. But as I started to drive again, slowly, hard in my throat, the seat behind me creaked, like pressure was shifting again. Breathing. I kept driving, eyes forward, breath shallow, pulse hammering in my neck. The back seat creaked again, but slower this time. Not like someone shifting, more like someone leaning forward dot, closer dot. I could feel it. That pressure, that tension in the air. Like when someone stands behind you at a party and you can't hear them, but you know they're there. I whispered, "You're not real." But the breathing didn't stop. The final stop, the delivery, was on a gravel road with no house number. Just a mailbox and a long tree-lined driveway. I almost canceled, but the order was locked in. No cancel button. Not even a timer. I sat at the end of the driveway for a solid minute, staring up at the house barely visible at the top of the hill. Old, 2 stories. Lights on upstairs but not down. I looked in the rear view again, still no one. But this time, the seatbelt was buckled. I swerved around in my seat and yanked it free like it was burning me. Not funny, I muttered. The silence responded like it was listening. I grabbed the food bag, hands trembling, and walked up the gravel path. Every step felt heavier. The deeper into the property I went, the quieter the world became. Even the gravel seemed muted under my shoes. I reached the porch. The light above the door buzzed, flickered, died. I looked back at my car. Interior lights on, driver's side door open. Inside the house, no one answered when I knocked. Tried texting through the app. No reply. Then I heard it. Cough. From inside the house. Same one as before. Same wet, childlike rattle. Then footsteps, but they didn't approach. They stayed upstairs. Pacing slowly. I turned to leave, but my phone buzzed again. Another message from the app. This one didn't make sense. Delivery complete. You may exit the vehicle now. I wasn't in the vehicle. I wasn't even near it. I was standing on the porch. Then the front door creaked. Open. Just like my car door had. Just like the orders that night had wanted me to follow. I took a step back. Nope, not going in. Then something inside spoke. Not loud. Not clear. Just 3 words, whispered between coughs. Still watching you. I Ronnie bolted. Didn't even remember doing it. Just ran back down the hill. Heart jackhammering, lungs burning. The car door was still open. Lights still on. Interior empty. I dove into the front seat, slammed the door shut, and peeled out of the gravel lot so fast I almost hit the ditch. I didn't stop driving until I hit a gas station with lights, music, people. I parked under a lamp and looked at my back seat. Empty. Still. But the smell was stronger now. Wet. Breath. Sick. Like lungs that had never fully healed. Reached over to open the glove box for my flashlight. And that's when I saw it. The picture folded neatly on the passenger seat was a small photo. I didn't put it there. It hadn't been there when I got out. I opened it with shaking hands. A Polaroid. Grainy. Colorless. It showed the back seat of my car. Same hoodie. Same water bottle. And sitting there, a boy. Pale, thin, head tilted slightly. Eyes blacked out with marker. Mouth stitched closed. Hands folded in his lap. Whoever took the picture had to have been inside the car. There was no TIME-STAMP. No note. Just the photo. And underneath, something was written in faint, smeared ink. I was cold. The truth, I didn't drive home. I checked into a motel, parked somewhere. I could see my car from the window. Didn't sleep. Every hour, I looked out. Nothing moved. Until 4:17. M. When the dome light inside the car flicked on by itself. Just for a second. Then off. The next day, I got in the car, holding my breath. Seatbelt, buckled, hoodie, gone. But in the footwell behind me, something new. A child's backpack. Old, moldy, torn on one side. I didn't touch it, just stared at it until a delivery ping came through. I didn't even remember turning the app back on, but it was open. And the next order? No address. Just a message. Backseat's hungry. What I learned, I did some digging, searched local forums, Reddit, even old newspaper clippings. Eventually, I found a thread. Title: Did anyone else hear the cough from the backseat? 15 comments. All from delivery drivers. All stories that felt like mine. Each ended with a different detail. A footprint on the dashboard, an open car door, a Polaroid of them sleeping in the driver's seat. One guy wrote, "It doesn't want a ride, it wants a route." Another said, "If you acknowledge it, it follows. If you drive it far enough, it finds someone else." Last night I made my decision. Took the longest order I could find. 6 towns away. I drove with the windows down, hoping it would get bored. I parked at a rest stop. Slept in the bathroom stall. Left the car unlocked. When I came back, backpack, gone. Hoodie, back seatbelt, unbuckled. For a second I thought maybe it worked. Maybe I dropped it off. Maybe the back seat was finally just a seat. But this morning I got in the car and turned the engine over. No noise. No smell. Nothing weird. Then the app dinged. New message. No order. Just this. Thank you for the ride. He liked you. It said I'd accepted the order, but I hadn't touched the app in hours. I'd gone home, showered, made noodles, and I was halfway through a rerun of The Office when my phone buzzed. Delivery in progress. 12:43. Ravenscroft, BLVD. Ada. 18 minutes. Order: 1 cheese steak. No drink. Note: back building. Top floor. Leave at door. I stared at the screen, blinking. Not only had I not accepted it, I'd never even seen that address before. Still, the app showed I was already en route. It even had my car on the map. A little blue dot halfway down Carson Avenue. Heading west, but my car was outside my apartment. Parked in its usual spot. Engine off. Keys in my hand. I checked the app history. Nothing. No. Other orders. No accept button. Hit. No timestamp. Just this one, already active. It was like I'd skipped a step, like something else had accepted. If for me. My stomach dropped. I hit cancel. The app froze. Then rebooted. Order was still there, now with a countdown. Arriving at destination in 11 minutes. My phone buzzed again. New message. No sender, just 3 words. Don't be late. I tried to ignore it. Turned my phone off, uninstalled the app, even pulled the battery out for a second, which I haven't done in years. But 10 minutes later, my doorbell rang. 3 slow chimes. Then silence. I live on the 2nd floor. No one ever comes up, unless they know me. I walked to the door, barely breathing, didn't open it, didn't speak. I just stood there, frozen. Then my phone buzzed again, screen black. App still uninstalled. 1 new notification. Order delivered. Thanks for completing your shift. And underneath it, you did good. I didn't sleep that night. The next day I reinstalled the app to check for any updates. Reviews. RATINGs, anything to prove I was losing it. But the entire history was wiped. No deliveries. No mention of Ravenscroft Boulevard. Then around 3 p.m. I got a call from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Later, I listened back. breathing. 30 seconds of it. And just as I was about to delete it, a voice, low, rasping, whispered, "You dropped something upstairs." I hung up. Deleted everything. Tried to forget. I didn't work that night. Didn't open the app. Didn't single quotes T leave the house. But at 9:42 p.m., another notification appeared on my phone. No app icon this time. Just plain white text. New order, Ravenscroft. You remember the way. I told myself I wouldn't go, but at 10:05 p.m. I was driving. Didn't remember grabbing my keys. Didn't remember putting on shoes. Just suddenly realized I was already 6 blocks from Ravenscroft Boulevard. My body was calm, but my mind was screaming. The GPS rerouted itself twice. Despite perfect reception. It kept flickering between arriving at destination and "You've been here before." The building 1243. Ravenscroft BLVD wasn't an apartment complex exactly. More like a forgotten row of converted storage units stacked into crude living spaces. No lights on the street. No cars in the lot. Just one flickering bulb over the back building stairwell. I parked out front and sat there, staring at the screen. There wasn't an order in the app. No name, no food. Just a banner. Top floor. Back building. Don't knock. My back seat was empty. No cheese steak. No bag. But the moment I stepped out of the car, I smelled it. Hot bread. Grease. Onions. Exactly what a cheese steak would smell like. Like it was fresh. Like I was holding it in my hands. But I wasn't climbing the stairs. Each step groaned like it hadn't been touched in years. The higher I went, the colder the air felt. Not just chilly, wrong. Like I'd stepped into an abandoned freezer. Or a morgue. No sounds. No wind. Just my own heartbeat and the occasional crack of the wood under my boots. By the time I reached the 3rd floor, I could see it, door 3C, slightly open. Just enough to be an invitation. I stood there a full minute before I said anything. Hello? I didn't accept this order. No answer, but something inside shifted. A creak. A soft scrape. Like something being dragged across the floor. And then, the sound that still haunts me. A fork tapping a plate. Inside, I don't know why. I stepped in. The air hit me like a brick, sour. Metallic, stale. It smelled like old food. Wet carpet. And something worse underneath, like something had been rotting for years behind the walls. The lights were dim, buzzing, jaundiced. On a table in the center of the room was a single plate. Half-eaten CHESESD, EAK. Still warm. Steam. Rising, across from the plate, a chair, and sitting in the chair. Me, the copy. I swear to God, it was me. Same jacket. Same haircut. Same scar on my hand from that time I dropped the fryer basket at my old diner job. But his eyes were glassy. Empty. He didn't look at me. Just sat. Slowly chewing, like the food had no flavor. Like he was stuck in the act of eating, nothing else. I said, "What the F *** is this?" He didn't respond. But the moment I spoke, his hand trembled. Just a twitch. A slow drop of the fork. He lifted his head and smiled. A horrible mechanical grin like a doll being forced to mimic joy. Then he whispered, "Finally." I backed up. He stood. And in a perfect mirror of me. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a phone. My phone. And on the screen, a new notification. Next shift begins in 2 minutes. Final delivery. He started walking toward me. I bolted. The escape. I didn't take the stairs. I jumped the railing onto the 2nd floor landing. Nearly broke my leg. Limped down the last flight and stumbled out into the street. My car was gone. No tire marks. No broken glass. Just empty street and that faint smell of cheese steak still lingering in my hair. Ran. Didn't stop until I found a gas station with lights and people. Called. A friend that picked me up. Didn't sleep. The aftermath the next day. I checked the delivery app. New driver profile. My name. My face. But the driver ID was different by one number. I emailed support. They responded, "This account is locked. Duplicate profiles are not permitted." I tried logging in again. Got kicked out. Received a message. "Thanks for training your replacement." I don't drive anymore. Not for the apps. Not for anything, but sometimes. Late at night. When it rains and the street outside is empty. I hear a car engine idle under my window. When I check, there's nothing, but sometimes I see my old Civic parked across the street. Just for a second. Just long enough to catch a reflection in the window. Someone in the driver's seat. Same face. Same clothes. Eyes. Forward. Waiting. The last message last week. I got a text from an unknown number. Same format as the old app. Order in progress. Cheese steak. No drink. ETA. Now. And a picture of my door from the outside, right where I'm standing.